to the Doc here. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Doc here from North America. Let's see, do we have... Oh, I'm not even tuned in. Let's go tune in. Let's see now. Let me see.
Even though I just sold juice for $300 million, I feel like I'm just getting started.
There we go. And let's get the fact check spreadsheet up there. And I see that. And there we go. And you can see there we're starting off with the Swiss. Swiss at this point in time showing a little strength there. And you can see it also on J4X. Well, actually J4X got itself a red candle. And we do have two red dots on a daily. So the pressure is on. But you can see the bar chart or the candle chart over here on Chicago Quant is moving up. So it's higher than from Friday. This will start to turn. You can see here the white line hasn't even pierced these two lines here, the purple or the golden, or I guess you could call that, yeah, the gold colored one right there, the dotted. And you can see here our white line is trying to turn up. It's coming off the minus time manifold itself. You can see the weekly, it went into a weekly last week. As you see on line 21 there, 1 week now on a weekly buy and 1 day in a daily sell. So that is the action ACTION. What's going on with the Swiss this morning? And what Swiss tells us is how the dollar is kind of rolling along. And then what we'll do is now we'll look at other pairs trades and see how the dollar is stronger or weaker against those in particular pairs. But we like to start off nowadays, instead of starting with the euro, we like to start with the Swiss just to get a flavor of the dollar, what the dollar is thinking, what it's showing, what it's acting like, you know, so forth and so on. Was interesting here that this weekly buy in the Swiss last week, kind of insinuating that this thing wants to go higher again, and that means the dollar is going to be rising. So, okay, let's jump over to the euro and see what the euro looks like. I can find it around here somewhere. So I got to move this down just a little bit, like so. There we are. And there's the euro. See, euro's trying to do the same thing, except for yesterday, Friday, it closed in a green dot, and that's line 14. And we did close in a weekly and a daily buy, and the math is doing us a good service, as usual, giving us a good direction. In this case here, you can see it's up, up, and away, and it has been a quick little winning trade. Coming through the daily time manifold right there, you can see it's starting to show some life. And you can see here it bounced off of the weekly, refused to go into a weekly sell, and just hung on by the hair of its chinny chin. We saw the same thing happen with silver too. That was interesting to watch with the silver action also. Let's see. Let's move this over here. I just want to get something going. Do I do that? No, I think I'll wait for it. And so that's where we are with the euro showing its strength. Now that means that the dollar is going down, and the euro is going up. Right, so there's more euros to a dollar, so you get like 118 euros. No, so I guess you're losing. It's losing too, just like the Swiss is. So as the higher the number goes, there's more euros you can get for a dollar. That means like an extra piece of candy when you're in a candy store. That's kind of neat. Alrighty. And now we can jump over. You know, I think we're going to have a glass of water. A little sip of water here. And the day is quiet. No one's around. Doc is by its lonesome. So we'll just keep on going through some of these things here. And when we get to the commodities, we'll start saving them. Now here is the British pound. And it stayed in its weekly buy right there. But you see, it had gone into the daily sell from this crazy action here, and then it, you know, blew up and came back down again. It's there, you know, it's still losing because that's where it confirmed the daily sell. So, but it really hasn't been able to get any legs. If we weren't in a weekly buy, you you would have taken the short. But hence, we are in a weekly buy. So the only way you would take any type of short would have been with options, not obviously the spot or the futures. Let's take a check over here on the J4X and see what it looks like. Right there. You can see 131.87, basically playing with that 132 area. You can see the lines have busted down here, and we saw that weakness. And it hasn't turned yet, whereas you can see here we are starting to turn. Again, this is more of a lagging indicator than it is a leading indicator, but it matches to our math, which is always a good thing. And that's why we keep it up on the J4X. It's the best combination. If you can't see Doc's work, at least you can see this work. Ta-da! Alrighty. Let's head over to the Turkish Lira. Let's see what the Turkish Lira is doing. Look at that. 4 red dots in a row. We haven't seen that in 6 months. So the news of last week of the Minister of Finance retiring for health reasons and the head of the Sovereign Fund retiring for health reasons, same person, of course, had put that pressure on. And now we're seeing some, I guess, relief that there's going to be some type of change of policy. I mean, that's the only thing I can interpret out of that one. That's the classic fundamental question. So that's where we are. Now, let's see, who else do we look at when we're at the Turkish Lira at this point? You can see the white line has pierced underneath the weekly time manifold on the plus side. The histogram is shrinking down. This is going to be interesting because we have been in a weekly, where's that? We'll start that off. Right there, 50 full weeks and 3 days in a sell, but 50 full weeks in a buy now. 50, not 5, not 15, 50, 5-0 like the deck of cards, heading for 52. With the way it's acting this week, you would think this thing might find its way finally into a weekly sell at the end of this year. How about that? This month in particular. Let's put it up on J4X and see how it looks. And you can see here the Hinky Ashki is following it very clearly. You can see the white line pierced the purple, then pierced the golden, what I like to refer to as the three-dimensional zero line, and it lifted off a little bit for it, and then this big day here gave it a push back down again. And you can see we had that same little hiccup right there. And but I don't think we were able to get into the, I forget what happened there. At one point there was no dot. I think that's what it was. No, dot would have been a buy. So let's see what that is saying. So there was minus, okay, so plot 4 is minus 202. Okay, that's what it did it. So it still wasn't able to get into the plus. That's what it came down to, is the histogram couldn't get into a plus. So it stayed in the sell from this move here. We didn't get whipsawed out of it there. And this thing either, when you really think about it, the Hinky Ashies said, don't think about it. Forget about it, eh? And that's pretty much what happened there. Hey, middle-aged silver's under a little pressure. Is it? Last I looked, it was firm. Let's take a look and see. Let me see. And there it is right there. Oh, yes, look at that. Yeah, look at it. It was new highs. I mean, not new highs, but, 5-day high. We went into a daily buy and a weekly buy there on Friday, thinking that, or was it, yeah, going into Friday morning, because it did it here, so this close. So we were instantly in a buy here at the opening area, anywhere from 24.80 to 88, basically, anywhere's in that area. And so you could buy that, and then because you were over the close of this one right here, because of the double dot. And then, so that's, I think Robin said something about that in the Inside Futures. He wrote that, and then on bar chart. And then this morning, you can see we went from, where did we go? From 77 up to 15. So we had a 23, what was that, 42 cent move. And that wasn't too bad. And now you're right, it's getting smackadoodled, and we're doing like the dance to go to sell. Sell aroma. Very, very good. Last I saw it, no more than like an hour ago, it was looking fine as kind. Looked like it was going to close in a, it looked like it was firming up and staying strong. Ferris, how you doing? IVB, how are you? Good, everybody's coming back to the hood. Your thoughts on gold today? would be appreciated. I'm short and slightly in a profit. Let's take a look and see. Well, we're just talking about silver, how it was acting very firm and it rolled over. So let's take a look at gold. Gold, same situation. I see here. That's what's going on there with with the gold in a weekly buy, but in daily sells, and it hasn't worked out, has it? You know, it's been fighting it all the way. I guess swinging about $40, $50 up, and now it's starting to come back down in here. To me, you're just looking at this. This weakness is obviously a negative sign. Uh, Being in a daily sell from here, from this crazy coronavirus gap thing, I can say this. Someone else just came out about an hour ago. Let me see if I can find it. I'm going to throw it up on the screen here. But someone else came out about an hour ago saying they had a 95% accuracy rate with their the corona, what do you call it, remedy, I guess you could call it. So I'm really confused why, the government's, these Democrat governors are getting all kinds of nuts about this stuff. Let's see if we can find it here. Get the headline up there for you. There it is. Moderna. And let's put that up on the screen right there. So Moderna reveals that its 19 vaccine nearly 95 effective in latest breakthrough results. And Pfizer is in the 90s, right? Or is it 70s or 80s? I don't know, something like that. So I mean, and Johnson & Johnson, same way. I don't understand what the panic is all about. I mean, I just saw a study out of England that showed that the amount of deaths in England is, there's 26,000 deaths from being locked up, and it has nothing to do with corona. So, I mean, it's like, what? You can't have a remedy that's worse than the symptom. What's up with these people? They're like bananas in the head. So, that is another thing that's saying, hey, and you can see here, there's the stock this morning, jumping up like that. Let me see if we can get this bigger. So it went from, closed on Friday. Closed on Friday at a little under 90, and then going into Monday morning here, it is trading now. It got as high as $100, and it's trading at 98.45 from this chart. So you can't have that. But anyway, on the gold, I would say that's probably the reason for the weakness. Got to remember, this gap is from the last week's news on the virus results. So this is probably the same thing going on. I say if you're making some money, take half of it off, put the stop up higher, that type of thing. Just solely because we're still in the weekly buy. It's nice to see the white line underneath this. Well, let's make it so you can see what I'm talking about now. See that? You didn't even have to tell me. I looked up and realized. All right, so you can see here the you can let's see, where is it? Right here. You can see the white line on the weekly, and the histogram is shrinking down. Matter of fact, we can make that a little bit bigger if you want. Let's see, like that, so you can get a better flavor of it, like that. And the daily's still in a sell, and this news I just showed you could be putting even more pressure on it. So take a little profit and then adjust your position from there. And so that's what we're seeing with the gold action. It's weakness again, just like the gap weakness that we had that took us to nowhere. But we've been in a daily sell straight through it all. It just refuses to go up. So don't be surprised this thing finds a way to go down once this weekly line gets underneath. When that weekly line starts to get minus and we're in daily sells, it just tells you that there's more selling. Now, it's a little surprising in some ways, but it sounds like the election's going to be resolved coming in like at the end of this week. It sounds like, looks like, Mr. Trump will start to be confirmed to be the real, the president-elect. He's the president sitting, and president-elect, and Biden is just some type of spinmeister. So that's where we are now with this whole thing. So with gold, we'll watch the weeklies, and what else can we say about that? We'll just keep an eye on the weekly with it, and then over on J4X, let's look at it up through J4X. This way you can tune into it there too. Look at the Turkish Lira. Cool. 4 red dots. We haven't seen 4 red dots in a coon's age. However long a coon lives. Those things are always eaten in trash cans and so forth. But anyway, you can see here, and I see them on the side of the road with their belly up. You can see here watch the white line going, the fast and slow stochastic, to see if it tries to turn up. If you can't catch me here on the webinar, or you're in the middle of the trading day, you can text and say, "Hey, Doc, what's cooking?" I have no problem with answering somebody. If I have time to answer, I shall. So people have done that. They just text me through like the Facebook or something like that, and, "Hey, Doc, this," and it's like, "Oh yeah, okay, I can answer you real quick." And if not, then when I get free, I will answer you. That's better than no answer. All right. Let's see. Do I do it like that? I guess I do. And I minimize that. There we go. Did we have the Chicago quant there too? Oh no, we're not seeing that anymore. That's it. So we'll minimize this. All right. Now, I hope that answered your question with the gold. And again, if it had been in a weekly sell, I'd be like saying, don't sell anything. Just keep your stops in and ride this puppy. Ride that cowboy. We ride. All right. There's gold. All right. Let's jump over to, where were we? We were looking at Turkish Lira, right? So where is Turkish? We've done that. We're 4 dots into red on the Turkish Lira, which is kind of neat. Like I said, we haven't seen that in 6 months. We can take a look at Canadian now, since we usually go from Turkish Lira to Canadian. Let's see. And middle-aged muscle, if you want to look at some of the commodities, don't be afraid. Just ask them. We'll take a look at them if you have a question. Don't be scared. Go for it. Be brave. Let's see. Let's give it a refresh. And there's the Canadian. I don't know. I saw something with Trudeau. I don't know. They're talking about some really strange stuff up in Canada. I mean, they're doing some really weird stuff. It's like as if they're not paying attention to the fact that we have cures now for the coronavirus. What's up with that? How can they not recognize that soybeans, corn would be great. You know what's interesting? I'll show you those. But guess what? Check out wheat this morning. Wheat's trying to go into a weekly sell. Real surprising there. Let's see. Let's open that up. Where we are, right there. Okay. Saw that this morning. I was like, whoa. Mr. and Mrs. Wheat, look at this. Trying to bang into the sell side, whereas corn is not doing that. It's still holding up. And even the daily is trying to fight its way back into the buy. But at least, this is saying, okay, we're not going anywhere in particular. So there's corn. So it doesn't have any real direction there. Now we can take a look at, there is March corn. Let's see what the March corn looks like. Now March corn's pushing itself into or it closed in a daily sell on Friday. And we're not really seeing, let's give this a refresh. We're not going to see any quotes for a while on today. Let's see, we'll go back to this one right here for a second. You can see that one's trying to lift up though, and it's lifting up today in the front month. So the March is holding up pretty well. In the other direction, the weekly's holding up well on the upside, but we're in a daily sell there. Let's just save that since we're here to visit it. And right there. Now, over in soybeans, you can see there, soybeans, little red dot going on, nothing major. We can reload that, see if the red dot even survives from reloading. Nope, still there. But we're in daily buys and weekly buys there with the soybeans. And then, did we look at March wheat? I want to look at March wheat too. And there's March wheat, because that's doing the same thing. It's trying to go into the sell here this week, the March wheat. And it's been in a daily sell. You can see the pressure is on that. Let's just reload that. So that's the real story there going on, is wheat seems to be starting to weaken up a little bit. Let's see, where's that at? Right there. There we go. Now, we look through, you can look at like there's the feeders. We do look at these feeders and so forth. You can see it closed on Friday, and that's today? No, that's Friday. Oh, Thursday. It closed on Thursday as a sell. Friday they smacked it down. Still, but it closed in a weekly buy, which is irritating. I hate when it does that. Let's try to refresh that one more time. Still there. So when it comes to the front month feeders, we're seeing short-term weakness and a little bit longer-term strength. Right there. Now we can take a look at the feeders going out, in January, and it's playing the same situation, and it did the same situation all the way around. Weekly buy, daily sell, and we're not seeing any quotes yet of what action we're starting to see for this week so far when it comes to feeders. Head and shoulders top on wheat. Ooh, let's take a look at that. Yeah. Didn't we talk about this last week too? That head and shoulders gig going on. And I think it does it in the March contract also. Yeah, we're looking at those head and shoulders. Well, it's had a good run. We've gotten up into the sixes, and it's been a fantastic run. Also, this could be this. Let me show you another headline that's got me totally perplexed. It's a short-term bond quote. Let's see. Here it comes. I'm going to put this up on the screen here for you. In China. Not in the United States, in China. Let's see. Almost there. I'm head, There we go. All right, we're almost there. I'm trying to. Which mouse is it? Right there. Okay. And do I have it? No, that's Moderna. I want to find it first, and then I'll put it up for you. It's up there. There it is. Got it. Here comes the story. I think I got it right there. Right there. There we are. There's the story that caught my eye this morning. Traders on edge as China faces $900 billion liquidity shortage. The MLFs, which are medium, what do you call them? Medium term or medium something loan factors in China. There's a little cash squeeze going on there. Let's see if I can find that again. It says here that something about credit expansion in 2009 successfully pulled the world out of the post-Lehman Depression. China did? I don't think the Americans did by buying from them. But anyway, $800 billion in MLFs, which is medium-term, a maturing, I thought it was medium-term, short-term. Let me go find what they call it. They have a name for it. It's a medium-term loan operation. And so they're having a little problem there. So I guess, we know one thing for sure. The last thing the Chinese are ever going to do is they're going to sell their American bonds. That's for sure. Hey, here we go. Head and shoulders time. I thought so, middle-aged. I thought so. I see now. Stoyan, hello. How are you? What do you think about the order flow and market profile in the Forex markets? Still the best in the world. In other words, if when people ask me about markets, that's a very good question. When people ask me, when they, someone says to me, you know trading. What do you think the stock market versus, say, currency market or gold market or something like that? And I go, well, currency market is the second biggest market in the world. Okay, the number one market in the world is bonds. The liability market. So that's the number one market in the world, and now we're going to compare them in size. Let me see if I can describe them in size. Let's say the market is a truck, or a pickup truck, like an American cowboy pickup truck, all right? Imagine that the bond market is the big bed in the back of the pickup truck. It's that big. Okay? And matter of fact, it's so big that if the pickup truck had a back seat, it would be like also as the from the back end, from the tailgate down to the back seat inside the cab itself. That would be the bond market. Now, the currency market is basically like the front seat and the windshield and pretty much most of the the engine, the firewall. It goes all the way up, almost up to the front of the engine, to the radiator. Okay. Then the next one is like the commodities market, which is like from the radiator all the way to the headlights. And then the stock market is the glass on the headlights. Stock market is a very small market compared to all those markets. So the currency market is a big market. Now the liquidity has all dropped in everything but bond markets. Okay, and actually options too. Options are still breaking records on the amount of options traded. But we've lost volume when it comes to currency. We've lost about 50% of our volume, which is incredible size. When it comes to the stock market, we've lost about 75% of our volume. And so without high frequency trading, it would be really hideous. It would make it even look worse. So I think that's the best way to look at it, is if you're going to measure it by a pickup truck that a farmer would drive, or a cowboy. And so the bond market is an enormous market. The currency market is the second biggest market. It's about, I guess, a quarter of the size of the bond market, maybe 3/8 of a size. Not a half, but it's decent size. And then the commodities, and oil is the number one commodity, and then from there, the rest of the commodities kick in, like gold and so forth, and stock indices or stock futures. But overall, they're nowhere near the size of the market of the bonds or the currency market. They're very big markets. Does that make any sense to you? And like I said, since 2008 in quantitative easing, volume is down enormous, anywhere from 25 to 75%, depending on the type of market, especially in the stock market. No, I don't see any answer yet, but we'll just keep on rolling along there. So, anyway, this loan thing is going on. I mean, you would think that put a scare into the metals market. Maybe they were selling. Maybe that's why we saw gold and silver both backing off. That could be it right there. Is this Chinese thing going on? The 1 year medium term. That's it. That's what the MLs are. Medium term lending facility. The MLF. That's it right there. 1 year money. So if you blow that up, this looks like a monthlies. And you can see here, there's a squeeze coming up into here. And that's $800 billion. China market is, the Chinese have their issues. There's no doubt about it. I mean, they're not a healthy economy, especially now that they've, the Americans are not. They're like a colony of ours in some ways, but we don't have any equity there, and so what you really see is that money, a large amount of money going into China was U.S. money, and now it's not. There's a big pressure there, so maybe they've pulled, they're backing off financially because they can't buy wheat at the moment, but they've been buying as much as possible. And last week was that holiday, and they're showing sales were kind of down from that. Again, Americans are not buying like they used to. They're not throwing money at China. I would say the United States has probably cut back 50% under Mr. Trump, and that's pretty big. I mean, we'd gotten as high as $500 billion a year we were buying from them. It's a lot of cash pouring in. So I hope, Stoyan, Misov, Stoyan Musov, I hope that all makes sense to you. I hope we answered you, and we'll just keep on rolling along there. I answered everybody else, right? And Middle Age is talking about that Head and Shoulders, and I agree with them. Something's going on there. All right. We're back to the charts, and there's the wheat. Let's see. The one I wanted to look at was the Feb again. Yeah, that's it. Okay, right there. So February, in the feeders, kind of mixed situation again. How about bean oil? Let's see what bean oil looks like. Middle Age was looking for soybeans. Soybeans are holding firm, and so is look at it, the oil. But if the oil is holding up like that, then the meal is holding up like that. So that's holding up pretty firm also. So let's check out the meal and see what that looks like. So if they're all holding up like that, there's buyers there. There's no doubt about that. It's like the great white whale. There blows the whale. It's like Moby Dick. All right, you can see here. This is the meal, and you see this is deck meal, and we went into a sell. What's that? That's today. So we went into we've been in a sell for a bunch of days. It went more up than down, but in the end result, it's now starting off where we went into the sell, and it's trying to get into a buy, but it's got a red dot there still. The weekly is piercing its time manifold, as you can see there. So, just keep an eye on all that, traders. We'll watch it like you'll watch it. We'll both watch it together. You watch it, I watch it, we all watch it. Indeed. Let's see. Let's go down to red wheat. Kansas City, Minneapolis red wheat. Wheat now, that's funny. This is the March red wheat. It's trying to lift up, and it's holding in the weekly. Whereas we see the Chicago wheat, the white wheat they use for bread and so forth every day, and cakes, that's heading down. Geez, we're going into like Christmas holiday season here. What's up with that? You would think that that wheat would be lifting, but I guess they've bought enough of it. All those cookies and yummy things. Yummy things. There we are. All right. I guess that's about it. If you have any other questions in the commodities, we can go back to them. But right now, I think we've done it all. All right. Where are we at now? We got gold on J4X. Showing a little bit more strength in here, isn't it? And let's just take a quick look at that for first. Right there. I think it's popping up a little bit, isn't it? Nothing major, but it is trying to pop up a little bit. Don't be too brave when you got a profit. Try to find a way to take some of it. There's nothing wrong with taking a little profit. All right, now you can see here, this is the bond market, which is obviously, this is the antithesis of it to some extent. This is the 10-year, which is like probably the major bond product out there. You can see here it's holding up. We're in a weekly buy from last week. It's going the wrong direction. See, it's down. It's got a green dot going there. There's Friday. There's today. It did go higher, and now it's going lower, and it'll probably do a little adjusting in there. But it always cracks me up when we see that type of action occur. Let's save that one right there. And then there is natural gas. Natural gas, okay, so it closed in a sell on Friday. Let's put that line in there too. There we are. You can see it's been in a weekly sell. It tried to turn up, but there was no real, I guess, desire. There was no sign of buyers. That's what it really comes down to. That's what our math really does. It identifies buyers and sellers. In this case here, the buyers have kind of thinned out a little bit there. Then you can see here, there's platinum. Platinum is trying to lift up. There is a little excitement in the thing. All week long it was in a buy, and it was in a buy here on the daily for, was it 1, 2, like 4 days or 3 days solid. So we'll save that one too. And again, if anybody wants to see anything, just shout it out. We'll go after it. We'll stop what we're looking at and go. I have no problem whatsoever here. Just following the math. And then there is the Robo. They're trying to pump that up today too. Been a sell throughout this whole circus act. Been a long buy there, but again in sell. So neutral. Warning, warning, Will Robinson. Okay, and this is the Robo. Where's that at? Robo. So that's the Robo, and it's trying to lift up. You got a volatility dot thing going on there with the green and the red. But again, the weekly it has to do a lot of work. Lots of hammering and nailing to try to get this thing to get going again. All right. Let's see, there's the 30-year. Let's take a look at 30-year in the bonds. Doing the same thing, backing off a little bit, taking some profits. Let's see, save away. That is the 30-year. All right, it sounds like we're moving along here. Nobody seems to be shouting out anymore or anything. I'm trying to think, where would we go from here? Let's see. Let's take a look at the stock indices. We can go right to, where's right there. You can see this is the Russell 2000 trying to lift up, closing the daily buy on Friday, and today it is still lifting. And you can see the weekly sell that it went into last week is already telling us you can try to play the upside as long as it stays in a weekly buy area. You know, you can at least buy them on these little dippy dips and try to ride them. All right, option or not. Let's see. So we'll mark that off. That's taken care of there. Now let's take a look at the other two stock indices. There's the Nasdaq, as we talked about before. That's a couple days in a buy, and you can see it never made it into the sell. I thought it did at one point, but I was wrong. Whereas here on the S&P 500, it is fighting to get back. It closed in the daily buy, and now it's fighting to get back into the weekly buy. And that is that there. Just checking to make sure I don't have missed any questions, but no one seems to have any questions. Let's see, let's go like that. And that is, now look at that. The Nasdaq is trying to go under. What's that? There's 16. Right there. It's trying to go underneath at the moment. But it's 1 day in a daily buy. Let me just double check that there. Yeah. So it's 1 day in a daily buy on Friday. And they had it up. Now they're knocking it down a little bit. Let's just take a look at the intraday. Let me just also at the same time save this. Save that. There we are. There it is. All right. No questions still? Okay, let's just keep on rolling along. What else can we look at here on this side of the sector? I guess we could look at the crude oil. And we do see the crude oil is trying to lift up and get into the buy here. Got a little volatility signal going on there. Again, anytime you hear news that these remedies are even better than everybody expected, I don't understand the media, why they keep on hiding this stuff. What is up with that stuff? I mean, you got a better chance of dying of the just general flu or cancer or everything else than you do with the corona at this point. I mean, it's just not that death-defying. I don't know. And we keep on testing more people, and they keep on pretending like that means something. So in other words, if you've tested now 10 million people, Of course you're going to have more people with corona versus when you only tested 10,000 people. I don't understand this stuff with the math. Why do they keep on trying to hide the math? All right. I'm trying to adjust my mic here. There we go. All right, so we looked at Robo. We looked at 30-year. Oh, Bitcoin. Let's check out Bitcoin. You would think it would be down from this action, but it's not. Yeah, the strength is still in there. Let's put the Robo in there. There it is, Bitcoin. So that's acting really well, and it's trading over 16,000 today. 16,570 is the high. And we're trading it basically in the fives now. So we're real happy to see that thing start to become a little bit more of its own leadership. It's like 9 weeks now to buy. We can change that. Niner. There we are. So it just keeps on rolling along. Rolling with the homies. I'm checking the chat line again. I don't see anything up there on there. So we'll just keep on launching through. Let's take a look at, let's go back to the currencies real quick, and we'll look at the NASCAD just to get a flavor. Oh, no, we didn't look at the stock indices or copper. Let's do that first before we get that far away. And you can see here's copper lifting up with the rest of the metals. So give it a refresh of a week. So we're guns blazing. Thursday, Friday, and now Monday. They're showing life in the copper market. So that market is lifting up, and oil's lifting up. I guess somebody thinks that society is going to start moving along in the plus side. That's the only way to look at it at this point. And then the last of the stock indices is the Dow Jones Industrial Average, which you can see right there is at the highs of X amount of months, heading for all-time highs in the stock market, which is pretty cool. All-time highs. Let's see, save that. That's a little scrunched up. Let's move that back over. I pushed it into a sell last week, and now it's trying to climb into a daily buy. With not much of a problem. I mean, it's, last I'm looking at, it's acting like it has been in the buy all the way up, you know, like, what are we up, like 400 points? Then we may be up that much. Let's see if we can. Dow Jones Industrial Average. Let's see where the Dow is. Dow is up over 500 points. Yeah. Up over 500 points. Wow. Pretty impressive. Let me save that one while we're here. There we are. And it's trying. Oh, you know what we should do is we should put this in there. Like that. And do a save again. So all the stock indices are climbing into, well, the S&P came in a daily buy. Then the Nasdaq came in a daily buy, or what is referred to Dukascopy as the Tech 100. And then was it the Russell 2000 came in a daily buy. So now the Dow is joining in with this thing. And since they have a cure, you would assume that the world economies would start to perk up a little bit in here. I guess once we get rid of these crazy politicians. When Mr. Trump is sworn back in again, I think that what is going to happen is that'll start to stop this absurd stuff with the... We've got a cure that's anywhere from 80 to 90%, if not better. Why is the society panicking from it? I don't get it. I just don't understand it. All right. Now let's go take a look at NASCAD. Let's see, right there. We watch the NASCAD. Normally, NASCAD is telling us where oil wants to go, but as you can see here, oil is, wrong one. There we are. That's not oil either. There's oil. Matter of fact, we might be getting to the point where we can get rid of this contract altogether this week. We probably should be in the January contract at this point, because I guess by the end of this week we'll be in the January contract. That'll be the front month. But you can see this thing's still trying to lift up. And then over here, you see it's trying to roll over. But the weekly is very firm here. Whoop. Let's do that. You can see the weekly is very firm here for all this action that we've been having. I don't know. We're seeing signs that the world economy has an opportunity to start to kick it back up again if some of these politicians just get out of the way. All right. Where do we go from here? We usually look at oil at this point and go into the commodities, but for middle-aged muscle and myself and a few others that were getting a little bored there, we jumped right into the commodities to see what's going on. Because in the end result is that the commodities are going to show us where the supply and demand are. And that's one of the biggies. Trying to keep track of where the supply and the demand is, which will give you a good place to know where to go invest or stay out of, one or the other. All right. Let's see. I guess that's about it when it comes to currencies. I just want to see one other currency. This is the one we were looking at on Friday. What was it? The Rand against the Yen. And so it went down on, that was Thursday, I guess we were looking at it. It went down on Friday and then came back up. And now today it's starting to show life and try to lift. It's in a weekly buy for a couple of weeks now. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 full weeks. So every time it gets into a buy, that product likes to go up. That was an interesting one. And then what was the other one we looked at on Friday? I know we looked at something else that we'd never looked at before. And I think that was the kroner against something. Let's see if we can find it. Where are you, kroner? Did we actually move it out of the way? I guess we did. Oh, there it is. The euro kroner. That's what it was. Did that crazy spike down and lifting back up now. You can see it's showing life in it. Went back into the buy here on Friday. It's not gaining anything today. That can be moved over like that. There we are. And so 2 days of dots. But look at the weekly. The weekly is still bent down, trying to go down. And the daily has been in lots of sells more than it has been in buys. And now it's trying to push itself into a buy. We'll see. See what kind of action we really get out of that. All right. I need to find somewhere else to go look. What else we got? What can I look at if no one's going to ask anything? What can I look at? Let's go look and see. There's Forex. So we're looking at some of these little exotics, and this is kind of neat there. And what else can we look at? See what the ruble's doing. Ruble's trying to move down a little bit in here. That's nice. Look at that. It's going after a weekly. Where is that? The ruble is line, where is it? Line 17, 16, 18? 18. There it is. Ruble went into a weekly buy last week. Let's put a line in there for that. And it's already flirting to go back into the sell. I really keep on thinking the ruble is going to do really well. So don't be surprised we get into a weekly sell and this thing starts to be down, 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 rolling hard and heavy. We have a lot of hope for the ruble. We really think that they have the right combination and chemistry that 1 decade from now somewhere, or 2 decades from now, or 2 months from now, who knows, you know, they're going to get all their game together, and next thing you know, they're going to be a pretty viable currency and manufacturing operation and so forth. I thought they're doing a really good job with Armenia and the state next to it, trying to bring in negotiations. They're showing really good signs of global leadership. Something that they had to go in and out of a few times, but they're really showing good signs, the Russian Federation, with all the minerals and the educated workforce and oil and so forth. It's well worth something to think about. If they can get out of their geopolitical stuff and start to just worry about business, that is going to be a very good currency, I think. We could see ourselves in the high 30s, low 40s again. All right. I guess that's about it with the currencies, unless someone wants to see something. I'm going to go find something more entertaining. Let's see. What is more entertaining in currency? Not really much. I like the currencies. Let's see. CAD yen. Let's see. Let's see what the dollar index looks like it's doing. Open that. Right there. Someone was asked. We have somebody today looking at GDX, and I think GDX is a gold index, and at the same time watching gold. They're doing both. I think I'll have a handful of peanuts. Let's make this truly entertaining. All right, so that's that product right there, and they're trying to rock it down a little bit, and the stock is moving with it. So let's save that. Let's see, where does that go? Let's put it as ZZ GDX. There we are. Should make it capital. Let's do that. Caps GD. Is it GDX? Yeah, GDX. There we are. Not X or Z. Did I have it right? GDX. Shift X. There we are. So let's save that. There we are. Now let's take a look at the dollar index and see what that thing's doing right underneath it. Same situation. Now we were looking at the Swiss. Just jump back to Swiss real quick. Swiss was trying to tell us that the dollar was a little bit firmer. You can see it there. Hence the reason why I really like the currencies. They really tell us a lot of the story, sometimes a day or two ahead of the stock market, which is very interesting. But let's just take a look at this again, and that is the dollar index is, it's in a weekly sell for 2 full weeks, going on a third, but it hasn't really gone anywhere. You can see we didn't do a daily sell on Thursday of last week, and that also has barely gone anywhere. So let's try that, and update a little bit for 3 days. And then save it. There we go. It's around here somewhere. I know we can save it somewhere around here. UUP. Where are you hiding, UUP? There it is. All right, now let's take a look at some of these others in that sector. There's the S&P 500, the stock index itself, and you can see it's trying to lift up more from Friday's buy, but we got weekly work to do at this point. We need this thing to try to turn up. And we were giving the old warning last week about this is the the end of the year stuff that goes on at this point. It's a lot of noise and a lot of short-term trends. People seem to not realize that the action that we get with the end of the year, because they have to, what they refer to as settling up their books. In other words, they have to close things out or take profits, or because remember they have to pay dividends back out to their investors, that type of thing. So there's diamonds. They're trying to get up too. You can see this. We got a red dot there though. And then there is the Qs. Qs were showing life. Let's reload that. Looks like they're trying to dip underneath at the moment. I'm just going to go like that. And you can see the weekly held up. So there's a lot of strength in that product. As much as they keep on talking about, like, I guess when the media finally jumps on board and they realize that there's an actual cure, maybe there'll be more pressure on these stocks. That's what they all call these, like, the stay-at-home stocks. They know that the markets and everybody are paying attention to this stuff, and that when the coronavirus is high and the crazy governors are trying to lock people up, keep them locked in their homes, regardless of how many people are dying, they in the end result, these stocks show a little weakness when it shows that there's a vaccine. When it shows no vaccine, then they show strength. So you can see the pressure on it. It's vacillating throughout this whole success rate. But again, no one's really talking about it. Thank goodness for the internet. Obviously, we're here because of the internet. But, we're seeing much more information than from the old sources of information. The old sources are really bad. So, all right. Let's close that workspace. And what should we call today's title? I guess we could say, like, what did we look at today? We looked at everything, really. We could say Swiss and gold, Swiss and silver. Let's do Swiss and silver. Label it as Swiss and silver. That's a good combination. Title, Swiss and silver. Let's see. All right, traders. This is Doc from North America. Maybe we'll have a little bit more action tomorrow. There's a lot of crazy stories going on with the election. Mr. Trump, as far as I can tell, has won the election, and the media says no. So we're going to see who wins, the media or the law. I think in the end result, the law is going to win. So traders, have a good trading day, and we will catch you all on the flip side title. There we are. So, happy trails to you until we meet again, which will be Tuesday. Happy trails to you, to all our